questions for both of you. One, what does this say about our political climate? And two, what impact, or if any, do you think this will have on the midterms? Neera?
I think we have a toxic political climate, and I think there's a big effort by a lot of people to equate that as equal between the parties, and I think that's ridiculous. I think we've never had a time in our past where we have political leaders who tweet, go to rallies, attack people by name, so you know, with such harsh rhetoric. We obviously don't know who did this, but we do know that everyone who received a pipe bomb has been attacked by name by the President of the United States. And I find it, you know, these are people I know, some I know very well, and I deeply worry about a climate which could lead to deaths of political opponents of people. And I find it deep, I don't know what the words, I've run out of words of how outrageous and anxiety producing this is. And I wish it would change, but I think it is fueling a concern for basic things like democracy and rule of law and some accountability in Washington, not just amongst Democrats, but a lot of independents in the country.
Matt?
Yeah, I think, first of all, it's terrible. People can disagree with public servants. They can try to defeat them. They can attack them verbally with rhetoric. But when it goes into their personal security, it's a very worrisome thing. You know, my office building is right across from the baseball field where Steve Scalise was shot and where those other Republican congressmen had to flee. It really brings it home when you see that violence. And that violence has unfortunately infected, I don't think it's one party's problem. You know, there are people out there in the country, obviously, that can be prone to be violent in an inappropriate way, and it's a terrible thing. I think the key is, your second part of your question was, how does it affect the midterms? And I would just say, let's take a breath. Let's figure out what's going on with these pipe bombs. And I think the American people are fair. And in the end, I'm hoping that this is just one unbalanced, crazy person, and we can get back to talking about the issues, and that all the people that got the bombs are appropriately, you know, protected by security. Many of them are public officials, and I wish them no physical harm.
Can I ask?
Yeah, I mean, can I just say one thing about this, which is I do think the attacks on anyone are terrible. I think the unwillingness to say that it's wrong for the president to go after people at a rally, the fact that we're at yesterday's rally, and I know some of these people, so I feel personally affected by it, but the fact that there's a rally in Wisconsin and hours after people receive a bomb, a pipe bomb, they're chanting "lock her up," and no one stands up and says, "Now is not the time, please stop." I just don't understand why we can't say, don't attack political leaders.
Well,
don't have lock her up chants. Don't do the targeting of people when you know there's this environment out there. And I just feel like you should be able to say that to the president. I would say it to any Democrat who goes at a rally and talks about says lock her up about Republicans. I think we should be able to say that, and I wish we could all say that.
Do you think we should say the same thing to the former Attorney General who said that when they go low, it's okay to kick them?
Yeah,
I don't think that was an appropriate statement.
Eric Holder, actually, because there was a lot of upset about that, actually said right after he made that statement that he was talking about people's interests, and obviously no physical violence should ever happen to anybody. So that's an example, actually, of people recognizing that we do live in that climate and we shouldn't do those things. But I appreciate there's always an effort to both sides, every situation.
Well, there is two sides to all of this, and I think what I'm trying to say is simply, this terrible thing happened yesterday. I think we're all hoping as Americans that no one gets harmed. And I think to say it's one party's fault or one politician's fault, I'd like to press pause on that and let's see what we learn.
Matt,